Thank you all, and thank you, Brad, for being here. And a very special thank you from the state of Texas for the many ways in which Microsoft partners with the state to work collaboratively to advance the state. Also, thank you for what you do here in El Paso with this particular program. We particularly appreciate the TEALS program that you were talking about, which is truly transformative and really advancing our education platform in the state of Texas. Let me start out also by thanking our partners and our friends from Mexico, including the governor of Chihuahua, for being here today. Thank you very much. Let me start by getting everyone here to look around the room in which we gather, because if you look around the room in which we gather, you understand what's going on. If you see these beautiful chandeliers, if you see the adornment of the tables from which we will be dining here shortly, if you look at the bricking around the perimeter of the room, you will think, if you would, in two different time periods. One is the way this building was and what it was used for at one particular time, where it had tremendous utility performing a particular function. And then there's an era of transformation in which a facility like this still has tremendous usefulness, providing a different function. That's part of the way life works and part of what happens in the workforce in the state of Texas, and what we in the state of Texas, working in partnership with Microsoft and others, are focused on achieving. Let me give you three quick anecdotes. I just returned from a week-long business economic development trip to Japan. I met with CEOs and leaders of some of the largest businesses in the entire world. Businesses that already are doing business in Texas or want to do business in Texas. Every single one of those CEOs and business leaders told me the very same thing. They think that in the United States, Texas is the best place to do business. Now, to me, that was no surprise to hear, because CEO Magazine ranked Texas the best state for doing business for 15 years in a row. Texas leads the nation in job creation. But what those CEOs emphasize is, despite Texas being a good place to do business, there was a challenge here. The challenge was inadequate access to a qualified workforce. Now, in part, that is a byproduct of our business success, because we have an all-time record low unemployment rate. But also, we all need to recognize and grapple with what it means about our need to transform our workforce. The workforce that we have needs to be upgraded and upskilled to be able to perform the tasks that these companies, whether they be from Dallas, Texas, or Tokyo, they are going to be able to have access to the workforce they need for the next generation of businesses. Leads me to the second anecdote. Something that was announced earlier, but there was new announcements about it over the past weekend. Several years ago, the United States Army decided to refocus how it was going to address the future of the United States Army, understanding that of paramount importance of all the jobs we have, the most important job that we have in the United States is perpetuating our country. And we do that through, among other means, by the United States military working for us to keep us safe. Well, the United States military, the United States Army in particular, they look across the entire country as they focused on the next generation of the Army. It's called the Army Futures Command. They redesigned the way the Army operates about every 40 years. Now, this, of course, is very important to El Paso because of Fort Bliss, among other reasons. Well, as the Army looked about the country to decide where it wanted to locate the Army Futures Command, it decided on Central Texas. The reason is because of the array of personnel assets available to the Army for the Army to be able to achieve its new design. The new design of the United States Army will not to do battle on battlefields like what you may see in Iraq or formerly decades before in Vietnam. Future battles for the safety and security of this country will be taking place in cyberspace. Future battles will be conducted through artificial intelligence. And what the Army needs access to is high-skilled, well-educated, trained workforce that can work in AI, that can work in cybersecurity, and they saw, at least in number and access of quality students, Texas provides that. And then there is the announcement of what's going on in San Antonio and the transformation of San Antonio. If you look at San Antonio, many people are familiar with UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio. And UTSA historically has had a campus on the perimeter of the city. Recently, UTSA has built a massive campus, and they're still building it, in downtown San Antonio. The core of that downtown San Antonio campus focuses on cybersecurity. San Antonio was recently ranked the #1 city in the United States for the future of cybersecurity. San Antonio, both the city of San Antonio, UTSA, is partnering with the United States Air Force as well as the NSA and other entities to work on the future of cybersecurity. So let's bundle all these things together. We're dealing with a transformative time, as big of a transformation in our workforce, in our society, as we saw in a transformation of the very building that we are in today. A transformation that will require us as a state, as a nation, and as a city to focus on transforming our education and our workforce to ensure that our workforce is going to be prepared to deal with the challenges of tomorrow. That ensures access to the computer sciences that Brad was talking about moments ago. Ensures access to the skill training that comes from access to broadband-based internet. It ensures that we're going to be educating and training workforces to deal with a multitude of challenges that are posed by cybersecurity, that we must deal with in artificial intelligence. When we achieve that in Texas and in El Paso, we are going to be ensuring the advancement of the entire next generation. Because of those projects I just mentioned to you, and because we layer those projects on top of Texas, which is the #1 economy in the United States of America, you can see that as we gather today, we're pretty much gathered at ground zero for what the future of the United States is going to look like. So I come to you today just letting you know that in Texas as a state, we need exactly what is happening here in El Paso today. We need partnerships with Microsoft, partnerships with the private sector, partnerships with the city of El Paso and the various different school districts that you have around here. And we must have a joint commitment, a commitment that we will collaborate together to educate the next generation of our workforce to keep El Paso and Texas and America at the forefront of economic advancement as well as the safety advancement that we need to keep America safe and strong. So thank you for the role that you play, Microsoft. Thank you for all that you're doing.